I would tell a friend about why they should consider AdviceOne that you should always let an expert kind of decide what it is the best thing to do with your finances. And although we all think that we're experts, just having another party take a look at your assets, look at your finances, and help you make the right decision to go, they're a lot smarter than you think you may be. So I think that's one thing that I got out of AdviceOne is why I would refer them to a friend.
And I'd also, if somebody's retiring from RTX, I would use them because they really help Shawn through the process of figuring out which pension to use and whether he could actually retire when he did. So that was very helpful.
Right. And then knowing all those RTX/UTC systems was a very big benefit for us, them knowing that. I think the thing that surprised me the most about working with AdviceOne was their ability to just take a look at everything that we had and then give us the right advice. They didn't have a preset program for me when I came in. They made sure that they saw where we were and where our assets were and where we were in our, approaching retirement age, and then gave us the best information. They didn't try to sell us some canned thing that was so I think that kind of surprised me in a good way.
I agree with that. Like, they didn't try to make us take all our money out of the 401k and invest it with AdviceOne, where we were just able to keep our money in our 401ks, and still they will help us invest that money and also any other assets we had that they helped us with.
Right. The reason that we chose AdviceOne over other financial firms was basically recommendations from people that we were close with who were already clients with AdviceOne. And when they told us about AdviceOne and told us about their unique ability of knowing everything about, it was UTC at the time, RTX, that was probably the reason why we decided to go with them. I think the thing I appreciated most about the AdviceOne planning process was how thorough they were. I mean, they wanted everything in regard to our assets, our wealth, and our finances. And they left no stone unturned before they came up and laid out the plan for us that they felt was best for us.
What I liked best was just their sheet of taking all our assets and then just running around with how much money they think we're going to have in the long term, like when we're 90, when we're 95. And that I was able to sit there and say, all right, those are the assumptions. What about if we use this assumption instead? And Bria was able to run with it and give me, so it's kind of like a sensitivity analysis with it. So I could see if, so the market going 7%, it's 5%, and are we still okay? And I really like being able to play around with her numbers a little bit.
Because she's an accountant, she likes those numbers.
It's true.
I think the biggest impact that we've had from working with AdviceOne is just feeling comfortable. We were always very uneasy. We felt maybe we were in a good financial position. We felt that we could retire at a certain age. But again, I'm kind of going back to what I said earlier. Until you sit down with professionals and have them really take a look at it, you just don't know. So I think once we got that comfort feeling, that impacted us in regard to deciding when to retire, deciding where to invest, deciding how to spend our money, that type of thing.
I think we're spending more money and we feel comfortable spending our money. I think we're both natural savers, and we're actually having somebody tell us, go spend, go spend, go spend. It's actually really fun.
Yeah.
And it's fun having somebody on the outside doing it, not just me saying it.
Absolutely.
So that helps.
I think our best experience with AdviceOne has been the interaction with Bria, our advisor, who has been able to just kind of make us feel comfortable regardless of how much information or how much knowledge we have or didn't have. She was able to just take a look at it, and where we felt we might have been in trouble or not so much in trouble, but not being comfortable in a particular area that we had to make changes, she made us feel comfortable about where we were going, and we kind of, that trust that we had with her. The fact that AdviceOne had expertise in RTX, meaning it's just that they were very familiar with our systems, with our 401k plans, with our pensions, and just even the software programs that those sit on. We can come in and they were able to log us in right away, and they were very familiar, and things moved very, very quickly. They didn't have this big, long learning curve of trying to get into looking at our 401ks and going to this screen versus that screen, or the same thing with the pensions. Their familiarity made the process very, very smooth, so we didn't have these big, long drawn-out meetings. They were able to get the information with us in the room very quickly.
If I had one word to say for AdviceOne, it'd be comforting. That it's just very comforting to have someone you can rely on, doing the fiduciary duty to watch over our money and give us the best advice possible. I find that very nice.
Yeah, agree. So our experience with AdviceOne has been nothing but positive. Another thing that what I liked about it, and to give you a simple example, is we hear other clients make comments about their experience with AdviceOne. Someone will say that they came to AdviceOne because they wanted to retire, and AdviceOne said, this might not be the time for you to do that. Others have come to AdviceOne and said they want to keep working, and AdviceOne said, well, based upon our analysis, I think you're set to be able to retire earlier than you think. And what I liked about that is it wasn't a cookie-cutter response to every single one of their clients. They actually did their homework. They look in depth at all your information, and then they'd make that recommendation for you. They don't just try to treat everybody the same way that would probably favor AdviceOne somehow. So that part of it, of making sure that they treat everybody individually based upon their circumstances, is one of the things that I like about AdviceOne.